All right, we are on the OK Show.
What up?
I can hear the rain. Is it raining?
Yeah, it's raining. Am I okay? Can you hear me good?
I can hear you. I
Yeah, you
can I
should,
can hear the rain as
dude.
well.
Dude, you should have heard the lightning, man. The lightning was crazy. Lightning was crazy. Like, I mean, not lightning. The thunder. The one after the lightning.
Has it
Dude, we
been
just.
raining today, or is it just today?
It just started today.
Hmm.
We've always had this like gloomy weather lately, but the rain hasn't really pushed through. The last one was like the hard rain we had maybe a week ago, but yeah, not tonight. It's raining. It's not. I don't think it's crazy rain, but it sounds like it's crazy rain. Maybe it is. But the thunder, dude, it's like, and I think it's like just down the street too, like not too far. So I'm hoping that it doesn't like strike the internet, whatever, and screw the show up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I want the show to not be affected because you know how electricity might get affected, internet might get affected, and all that. But it's freaking the kids out. So Jago's kind of like, hugging his mom extra tight tonight, kind of
Right.
thing. But anyway, so it's a Monday. Time to catch up. What'd you do yesterday? Where'd you guys go? What was that about?
Oh, we were too. Oh my God, no, I'm still
Yeah,
tired
I
from
know. I do.
yesterday.
It's like 9:22 there. It's 8 here, but it's 9 there. So I get it.
We went to. It's Takayama. It's one of those places that you should visit. But I think not a lot of people were able to do so back in the day because it's the countryside, right? It has
Hmm.
beautiful scenery. It's where a lot of traditional stuff happens, and I think
Yeah.
it's a really good place to visit because it's not just the typical, you know, um, image of Japan. Because people, when they talk about Japan, they think of, especially I'm talking in terms of how Filipinos sees it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How we see it as
Yeah.
as a country. Because we're not
Yeah.
that cultured. We only think about games and theme parks and shit. We don't
True.
think about
True.
the richness of the culture that Japan has.
True.
I mean, Japan is more than Disney, Universal Studios, and all these animes and stuff, right? There's
Akihabara.
just, yeah, it's really rich in culture. So for Filipinos to just imagine Japan as a big city where you can see those girls in costume and all those cosplayers and whatnot, it seems silly. So my sister mentioned that nowadays it's included in the guided tour that you have options to like to get there.
Nice.
It might cost a little bit more because of the bus, the bus ride and whatnot, but yeah, it's like that place is where a lot of Japanese visit during the holidays. So Takayama is one of those tourist spot. I mean, in terms of um, internal, what do you call them, like tourism, if I may say. So I went there. Shirakawa-go is just near. It's around that area. So we
Yeah.
went there because there was basically a practice tournament. It's a tournament. I don't know if that was the actual tournament or if it was a practice tournament. They have a different way of doing things here in terms of sports. So my daughter's club team went there to play against other club teams, and
Sweet.
the game was out of town. So this is about like 140 kilometers away from where I live. So I don't know like the distance, like in terms of like from
That's pretty
Davao to
far.
what.
That's like Davao to like, I know past Digos. Gensan probably. Like
Probably
three
General Santos
hours.
City.
Like
Because
three
if I
hours.
don't take the expressway, that would take about 3 hours. But
It's
if I
about
take
three
the
hours.
expressway, that's like about two and a half,
Yeah, it's
or
about three
two and
hours.
20.
That's Gensan. Because
Right.
Digos is like no, hold on. It's 150, right? Digos is about 70 something if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Like
really?
almost 80.
So it should be about
So,
General Santos City. That's
well, not
what I
Digos,
thought.
but like Matanao, where my wife's province is, which
Right.
is like at the like after Digos. Well, in Digos, but like the province of Digos. So that's about an hour and a half for us to get there.
Right. So the weather there is different from here. It's much colder. Like now, it is already cold here, but there it's already like that's their weather there yesterday was our is our December weather.
Okay.
So it's still October here, and it
Wow.
feels like December there. So it was, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, I mean, it's in the mountains there. So we thought about like, oh, let's just stay tonight because supposed to be there was the festival there, but
Yeah.
because of the rain, it didn't push through the
Oh,
floats and
that
whatnot, so it
sucked.
didn't happen. But we're
What's
able
up, Joe
to at
Boy?
least
What's up, man? We're just catching
Joe
up.
Boy.
So,
Joe Boy. Hey, what's up, my man?
he's probably not around anymore. He's just like,
He just like
attendance.
said, "What's up?"
What's up, attendance?
Pacheck lang, pacheck.
Yeah.
So basically,
So,
they had a great game. I mean, they lost against this um, team from Seki City,
hmm
and dude, I was like, oh, these kids are small. I was like thinking like, they're small. We'll be fine. Dude, those kids were good. Those kids, they have talking about handles, man. I mean, those kids were
Yeah.
wow, and
That
they were really small, like small. I talked to one of the girls. Was like, how old are you guys? And the girl was like, oh, I'm 10, like a fourth grader. They only have like this one tall girl,
mhm.
but the rest of them are like short. But dude, they can handle the ball properly.
Yeah, it's like
So
your team kind of well, maybe underestimated them.
sort of, yeah, because they were like short, but they know what they're doing in terms of how to play the game.
Have you seen the
Whereas,
Redeem
like, we
team?
have, nah, I haven't like.
Okay,
I hate
I'll
the
talk
Dream
about
Team.
that. I'll talk
Right.
about no. I'll talk about that in a bit. But go ahead, keep talking.
Okay. So they won the game. We came as close as 7 points, but we lost. We used our size, so basically, I think if we used our size in the beginning, because I don't know. I mean, the coach was kind of like, all right, yeah. See, this is the thing. Like if it's like kids team or whatever, it should be clear that I don't know. Like I don't know how the coaches think or whatever, but if I would go back to when I was when I was a kid and my brothers were playing, it always seemed like the weaker teams, they always have that, they always have that coach like, all right, everybody plays, it's just for fun, we're playing, all right, and they always get hammered by these good teams, whereas with
hmm
the good teams, well, you're not good enough to play, but you're not playing, you're sitting down, right?
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
there were rules back then that if you have 15 players, you have to play the 15 of them first, second, third. I remember the rule for the SBP at that time. It should
Yeah.
be like 15 players, and you should play them first, second, third quarter. Fourth quarter, that's the coach's decision. Like if only the best five would get in and the others can't play, then that's how it is, right? But here, I don't know what's the rule because it's not like that. They have 4 quarters, and like some teams only have 8 players. If I mean if they
Okay.
don't have enough people, no. Like I think the rule was you have to have at least 10 players, right? In
Okay.
your club team. If it's not 10, then you can't join. So it has to be 10 players. So I would say that maybe I don't know the rule, but you have to have 10 players. So that means you don't have to play them like 5-5. I'm pretty sure it's not like that. Or you could still have choices in how to rotate them because you only have 10 players. So
Got it.
the thing is, like the coach was like, all right, I'm gonna let the like all right, two big kids, and like we have like bigger kids, but then the smaller kids are awful. Like they're small and they're really awful. So I mean, if you play them against these all small kids, but can do the handles well, and they
Yeah.
know what they're doing, they know how to make picks and whatever. So I mean, surely you'll get hammered, right? So we got massacred in the beginning, but we were able to catch up a bit, but still we lost the game. So, all right. Then the second game was like with another team that we faced before, and we beat them. And one of the mothers was like, yeah, they're not really that strong. They're not that mature. They're big, but yeah, they're not that mature. But the thing is, it was another coaching disaster because he basically didn't adjust. He basically did the same thing as he did the first game. He was just all right,
hmm
fine. So me and my wife were talking. So I was like, well, that's the thing. Like I don't know how the club team is with my my daughter's club team, how
Yeah.
what's their approach to the game, whereas with
Yeah.
with the Seki team, you can tell by the way they wear their uniforms, they have their jackets and shit, like
Yeah.
wow, they have that flash, man. They're flashy, and when they
Yeah.
play,
They got the
they're also
swag.
flashy.
They got the swag.
Yes, right. So they were there and they looked the part, and I was like, all right. So my wife was just saying, Oh, they're like Holy Child, like my brother's team. Like if you look at them, they I felt like they were like Holy Child or Ateneo. Like you can tell they're a strong team. And whereas with my daughter's club team, it's not that way. So I was just like, I don't know. So maybe it depends on the coach because if you really want to play, then you can't play everybody. Like if you
Yeah,
suck, then you suck. You can't play. That's how it was with the Holy Child. Like no, if you suck, you can't play. If you don't practice, then you can't play. I
yeah,
mean, you just can't like show up during the game and you can play. No, if you miss practice, that means you can't play the game. I mean, you were not there to prepare yourself. You were not there to practice the game. Then of course you can't play the game.
yeah.
So I think it's more of like this is how like with the kids, right? But the problem is if you're a coach, then the kids are there. Probably this is not the case in Japan because like not all the parents were there. But this is the case with my brother in Canada because there are parents who get mad because the
Yeah.
kids can't play. Like the kids can't play, they get mad, and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
paying for whatever, blah
And,
blah
and,
blah."
and, and they don't realize that their kid, they're trying to win a game here. You know what I'm
And
saying? It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. So my
this is
brother
not
took that
like,
for us because he was saying like, "Well, do you want to play or do you want to win? Which one is it? Do you want to have fun or do you want to win?" Because like we can't do both. If you want to win, then like that's a different story. So that I think that's the hard part.
I mean, is that like what is that, like a recreational league or is it a competitive league? I mean, what category does that
Dude,
fall under? Like,
if it's a game, somebody wins, somebody loses. You can't put me in a position where you're like, oh, it's a game, then it's okay to no, it's not okay to lose. Like,
no,
you
but it's
can't be
like,
in that.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Like I
no, no,
don't
no,
know.
no. I guess it's a competitive league because you're going
It
up
is a
against other
competitive league.
teams. It's
Yes,
not
it is a
like,
competitive
it's
league.
not like it's not like it's not like a clinic. You know what I'm saying? Where they just
No,
go
it's
up
not a
against
clinic. No,
the
you
same
have a
kids
team.
that you're in the
You're playing
clinic
with other
with.
team.
This is
Yeah.
like legit. You're going up against other teams, and
Yes.
but in a way, it's also part of the learning process. You know, it's not necessarily like you're building a team to win here. You're basically, that's their part of the package of them in that particular team is not only to learn the basics or the scientific basketball or the science of basketball, but the competitive aspect of it and that being exposed to, but not necessarily probably expected to win, like built to win, because it's like because that would be like a competitive league. Like maybe the next step for these kids, once they're done with what it is that they're involved right now, then that would be like when they join the hardcore stuff where you're no longer starting from scratch. Like for example, with my basketball skills, I can't join a competitive league. With your basketball skills, you could, because you already have the experience. You already have so these kids, this is their first time. Most of them, this is their first exposure. So I mean, I get it. I mean, you're right. I would not want to travel that far, and you want the kids to have that experience of victory, and because I mean, it's gonna be something that's gonna be ingrained in them. But at the same time, I mean, with some of the parents, I don't think they care. So I think some of the parents that enroll their kids in that thing probably couldn't care less about winning. They just want to take pictures and stuff because, like I said, it's like the first time for some of these kids. So maybe their parents don't even plan their kids to pursue basketball afterwards. I really don't know because you're the one who's a part of it. But it's like me enrolling in piano lessons. You know, when we did the piano recital, dude, I screwed everything up. Nobody expected me to be Mozart or Beethoven when I started playing the piano. But the kids who progressed from that piano class that I took, which I didn't pursue, probably are much better. They're probably like in the big leagues now. So I really don't know because I mean that's the thing too. It's like with what you're doing with snow. I mean I kind of want to do that with my kids like Rai and Jago, but I'm not. I don't have that fire that you have where I would be supportive enough to like go out of town. Because Miguel, my best friend, does that with his son Ellie. They go to Tagum, they go out of town, dude. They travel far for his swimming competitions and he gets medals. So Ellie's in a different level. I just want Raj to learn how to swim. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know what these kids are about playing in your team. Are they just there to learn basketball? Are they there to kill?
Oh, well, basically, in Japan, you join a team that means you like doing it, right? So, I don't really know their mindset. Because me, I just put Snow in there to be able to
Are the
learn the
kids
game of
Snow is with
basketball.
experienced? Are they experienced kids? Have they been doing it for years, or it's also like their first time?
Well, the kids who are in sixth grade, they started when they were like in second grade as well. So they've been doing it like
Oh
quite a
yeah.
while.
Oh.
So that's why they have the like they have skillful players. They have one who's like really good, but she's the only one that you can say that who's really good, who knows what she's doing. The other bigger kids, like yeah, they know, but it's like to my standards, with my standards, yeah, I mean, like no, you need more to learn. You need to learn more about the other things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was saying like if Snow is this big, I could teach her fast, and I could make her do it because now she's second grade. No matter how hard you push her, it will like not unless she's a freak like those kids you see on YouTube who are like
Yeah, yeah.
dribbling like crazy. I mean, those are not normal kids. I mean,
Yes. I
Ninense,
know, I
I
know.
mean, even my
But that's all they
even
know.
my brother, who's like a Ninense at that time, who was even a boy, he was skillful, but he wasn't that skilled. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it kind of like grew. He grew into it. Like he became good because he was constantly playing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my me. I didn't even feel bad that she didn't play yesterday. I was like, if yeah, she shouldn't play. She should be there cheering for everybody, so that she'll realize that why did because eventually she was like in the first game, she was like bothering the coach, and I thought she was like she wanted to go to the toilet. I'm like, all right, so I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, I told my wife we can't go to the bench because that's not allowed. So I was like making signals or whatever that maybe she wants to go to the toilet because she was bothering the coach so much. Like every time there was a timeout, she would be like, like talking to the coach, and the coach would be
Yeah.
like, the coach. I'm thinking like the coach is busy or whatever, so maybe
Yeah.
that's why he's ignoring her. Then I found out after the first game that it wasn't that she didn't want to go to the toilet. She was asking the coach when is she gonna come in. She's
Oh,
like, oh,
she's
am I gonna come
competitive.
in? I'm gonna
Oh.
am I gonna
She's
play?
dude,
I was
she's
like,
got the fire.
Not. I was like, yeah, she has the fire. She doesn't have the
She's
skill.
Yeah, but she's fearless. Bro, she's
Yeah,
fearless. Cause like I would not like if I know like it's like math. I will not volunteer to solve the problem, if I didn't know how to do it. But she didn't care. See, that's the
Exactly.
thing.
No, because the
That
other
cannot be
coach
taught.
that
That cannot be
the
coached.
past because the coach yesterday was like sort of I don't know if he was the main coach wasn't around, right? So the other coach he would let everybody play, like even the small ones. I think because he wants them to have experience and whatnot. But me, I was like, no, we have to win this game. Like, who cares about their experience? Like, they have
Yeah.
experience in practice. Let them experience that in practice. You can't play
Yeah.
an actual game. And plus, my daughter is small too. They're like big kids running around. Like, what if they run over her?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, that too, safety reason. Like, for safety reasons as well. I'm like, it's better that she sits down and look at the game and watch the game. I think it's better that way. She learns something. So the coach didn't put her in. So I think that was a good experience for her to realize that hey, if you're not good enough, because there's also Anina say there was like a freak of nature, who's really like bigger than usual, and she could like do things that most second graders can't do, and she's already playing. But that's not the case with Snow. So in my mind, like, well, you have to learn that if you
Yeah.
don't have the skills, if you're not prepared, if you can't shoot the ball, if you can't even dribble, if you travel a lot, if you can't even catch the ball for crying out loud, no way that you're gonna be, you're gonna be in the game. So I want her to realize that, and I told her like, don't do that. The next game she did the same thing. So I told her like, stop doing that. Like you have to earn your right to play. That's how it
Yeah.
was. Like when my brother was in fourth grade, that was a time when she was like amongst his peers, he was he was well, I would say like in at least in assumption he was the best player among the fourth graders, right?
Yeah.
So he was, but they were like fifth and sixth graders, so he couldn't be played like for a longer time, and even the coach insulted him at some point because of his short height. And when he left that school and went to Holy Child and became so popular because he was like really good, he was one of the best point guards in the city at that time. Like the coach when he visited like that same school, he was still the coach at the like uh, uh, of the high school team of that particular school. So when my brother came back to visit, they had an invitational game. This time around, I was like, "Oh, these are our players back then." Blah blah blah. But in my head, I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like I remember that insult you threw at my brother when he was still playing for you, and it was like I
Yeah.
didn't well with me because that was personal. It was really personal, and it wasn't like about like my brother wasn't doing what he what he was supposed to do on the court, but it was more of like it was personal because I think they were it was about his side as well because he's really good, and people always like, oh, he's really good, like, oh, sayang, maliit, or um I mean, he's not that tall or whatever. So I mean, one of the teachers kind of asked the coach like, oh, sayang yung bata ni, blah blah, like he's really good but he's short. Like, have you seen the father? Like, what is the father like? Because they're thinking like, oh, maybe he's gonna grow taller at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then I was there when they were having that conversation, and the coach was like, his answer is like, "Oh, pareho ra pud sa iya, ha." So that really got like, I was like, oh, fuck you. I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when he became like really good and they were like winning championships and whatnot, and they came back to that school and they beat that team like 20 points. And after the game, it was like, oh, these are my players back there, blah, blah, blah. But in my head, I'm just like, fuck you. I didn't say that, to his face, but in my head, I'm just
Yeah,
like, fuck you. I was cussing him out. Because he was just like, now you're saying this. But then back in the
yeah, yeah.
day, it was like. So I think that fueled fire in him. So I think we got our competitive spirit from, maybe because we were all boys and we were competing against each other. And my father was always like, we have to prove something to our dad, because my dad would like, if you're just going to embarrass me, don't make me watch the game, because he did that to my brother. Like, he once watched a game when he was like in elementary school, and just in time when my dad arrived, this was a time when my brother made made a drive, then ended up just throwing the ball in the air, hitting the board, nothing but the board, and he looked silly because he was small, man.
Yeah.
And he was guarded by really tall guys, like, because they were playing against Ateneo. And my
Yeah.
father was that was just like what 3-4 seconds of like that particular sequence. You know what my father did? He left immediately. He was there when he arrived, because it was an open court. He parked his motorcycle, and that was the time that it happened. He hit the board. My father didn't even bother to sit there for another 5 minutes. He went back to his motorcycle impromptu.
Yeah, that-
And like, just right then and there, went back to the motorcycle. He called me like, Dai, come on, let's go. Like, Dai, dali na. And they left. He wasn't there for about a minute or two.
It's like, I drove all the way for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably what he thought.
Exactly. So when we got home, we were like, why did you go home? And my father was like, this was his words. If you're going to embarrass me, do not ask me to come and watch your games. Because I will not waste my time to watch stuff like that. And he was like, if you're going to make me watch, make sure you're the best player on the team. And he never watched the game up until my brother was like already in Holy Child. And when they won their first championship, that's when he started playing. That's when he started watching the game. He never watched a game. My mom would with me, because we were all supportive. Me and we support each other as brothers, and my mom. But my father wouldn't. Like, he would never watch. And when he came back from Cebu, and I told him about the news that my brother was the key players when they won the championship at the Dax in that when was this, 93 or 95. My father was like, really, what happened? So I gave him the play-by-play, and that's when he started watching, because that day also the owner of the school announced on, like, at the campus, like when we had our flag ceremony, she announced like, oh, because there wasn't any MVP or whatever, because he played 3 games that day, and he
Yeah.
played well in those 3 games.
Yeah.
So Ma'am Lotero was like, oh, if we're going to choose an MVP for yesterday, it will be Alfred, blah blah. And I promised this to him: if we win the championship this year, and if he is the MVP, I will give him a scholarship from next
Wow.
year. And that happened. So when I said that to my father, that this was the promise by the school directress, that was like, really? So this must be this must be real. This is a big deal. So he started watching the game, and he was more active, and he was more, like, his face was postered everywhere, like,
Yeah.
like,
I
he
mean,
would
it's free
invite,
tuition. It's free tuition, man. What are you talking about?
right? So,
Money saved.
but yeah. So me, it's just like, that's what I told Snow too. If you do not want to play, if you don't like the sport, tell me so that we can quit as early as now. At an early age, I tell her that. Like, I don't want you to waste your time in my time. It's okay if you don't like it, because if she is goofing around in at the practice, like today she was goofing around, and I was like, why are you goofing around? Like, you're not there to goof around with your friends. You're there to practice. Now, if you
Yeah.
don't like this game, because if you just want to goof around, tell me. Because we're not gonna come here anymore every Monday and Saturday, and we're not gonna join these Shia, because you're just gonna embarrass yourself. And she's like, no, I really want to play. And then stop playing. Stop doing that. You're here to play. You're here to practice. You can't even pass a ball properly yet. You can't even catch a ball properly yet, and you're goofing around.
Dude, you sound like King Richard now. King Richard. You know what I'm
Not
referring
that
to.
no, I have not seen that movie, but I think I'm not that level yet. But I just tell him like
But you will
it's
be.
important to know.
But you
It's
will be.
important to know.
It's in your heart. I mean, dude, I get it. That's why I think basketball or a lot of the team sports is, for me, it's unfair. When I say it's unfair, that's why I never excel at any of the team sports. Not that I'm not a team player, but I actually mentioned this at the podcast where I guested. I said, one of the reasons is that the skill level of all the members of that team are not the same, you know, and there are some players in the team, whether it's football, whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball, that can't take the role playing aspect of it, or that, oh, this is just my thing, I gotta specialize in this thing. No, everybody, especially Filipinos, we all want to shoot, man. We all want to dribble. We all want to be the alpha. We're not there like what your dad said. If not, you're not gonna be the best player. What's the point? Can you imagine if every member on that team has a dad who said the same thing to them? So how is that team going to work? Yeah, that's why I was mentioning the Redeem Team, because that's on Netflix now, and
Mhm.
obviously the Redeem Team, the team, right? They were the team that won the gold medal for the U.S. after being embarrassed the previous years,
Losing
and
to Argentina.
yeah, losing to Argentina and all that, and then they had Kobe in, and like, and that was a close game at the for the gold. They still almost lost it against Spain and the Gasol brothers. And that's kind of like they had to set those egos aside, and for me, it's like that's the thing. It's like I play basketball, and I immediately know, like from like within the first quarter, first whatever few points of the game, you immediately know who the guys are good, and they're the only ones who will have fun. And that's why I didn't. That's why I like I don't look forward to it. Like I play basketball in Bakaka with my friends, and it's fine because they let me score because these are my friends. They're like, oh, sirad na, sagdi lang na, ayaw na gwardiyahi. But when I play with my Ateneo friends, or when I play with with you guys are not gonna cut me some slack. You guys are, you guys are gonna, no time for bakikaws here. We're here. We're paying our game here. We're paying the court. So I get it. That's just that competitive fire. But and I don't like it. I don't like it when I'm not when only the good players are having fun. I'd rather we all suck and lose together than have just a couple of guys. I mean, they call it team, but come on, to be honest, really, when you think about basketball, it's not really a team sport. It's a team when it's collectively taking place, but the ones that that claim the glory, the ones that really can say, I mean, Judd Buechler's kid. You think Judd Buechler's kid has that same pride as Michael Jordan's kid? No, of course not. I'm pretty sure that kid's probably just thankful that he saw his dad play 2 minutes in a Bulls game. So I don't want to like that. And I'm not dissing team sports, but I'm just saying it's like it can never be a team sport. It can only be a team sport if everybody has the same skill level. And the thing with basketball is, it's never that way. NBA professional level does that because it filters, the ones who are good in college but can't excel at the pro level. Again, at least, you can say, oh, at least I get to the NBA level. That's already an achievement in itself. But like when you just play like, kanto-kanto basketball or just like join a liga or something, come on. We all know how that's about. You see the post, like if your brother, he excelled at it, but I'm pretty sure he's got teammates. What about the teammates he had who didn't? They're not going to be talking about their experience then. They're going to be like, dude, you played there? Wow, I didn't know. I didn't hear. I only knew about this Lucero kid. So it's for me, it's like I said, I suck at it. I don't have to be good at it. Like radio. Like when we did radio, we were on an equal plane. I never saw myself better than you, or Joe was better than Billy Kane. No, we were all on the same level because we all contributed in a way. We all did our own show. And we all had our time slot. And nobody had like a longer time slot because he was better, or nobody had more fans because he was better. No, we were all at that level. So that's probably why I lasted in radio, because though it's a team sport, we all had our own thing. We weren't going at it together. Try having a show with all of us together.
No, it's your mentality. It's your mentality. But you know what? People were having, like, internally they were also being competitive with each other. You probably, I don't know if you know about this.
You mean on radio? The radio thing?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know.
I
I
mean,
didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know, man. I didn't
it's
know.
how we look at it. Like I didn't care too. Like you probably had the
Yeah, I didn't
same
care. I didn't
approach,
care.
right? But back then, people would fight over time slots, like who gets 2 to 6 p.m., who would
You have
get
a point.
6 to 9
Yeah,
p.m.
yeah. That's
And
why I
they're
agree.
fighting over it.
That's
And
why I
they,
agree.
and you know, it created a rift between all the DJs. That's why I'm you know, we
You're right.
talk
You're
about,
right.
like,
You're right.
oh, we
You're
are the
right.
best. We're the best team ever because nobody cared. Like
That's how we
didn't, like,
were.
right?
You
Like,
didn't
I
have
care if
to
I was.
like walang nagselos. Like
Yeah.
I
Don't
knew.
tell me
I-
like, can you do like the graveyard? Yeah, sure. I'll do the graveyard.
Dude, I mean, Mao and I would talk about like, dude, the bottom line there for us in radio with Mao and I or Billy Kane was like, who gets the most girls? That was it. You were after it because of the talk. You were after it because you were passionate about the craft. The girls, of course, were there. You took advantage of that too. But I'm just saying, it's like for Mao and I, that was like job number one. That was, and we knew you were getting all the girls. And I remember Mao would always tell me, dude, invite mo si Iceman kasi maraming kilala. He would always tell me that whenever we go out. I'm like, dude, but but he's young and he looks okay with them. We don't. Like, we can't blend in with these same girls that he brings in, but I end up marrying one of your friends, right? But I mean, what I'm saying is, it's just, what I'm saying is, it's just like, yeah, okay, you're right. It's my mentality. That's why my mentality of a basketball is different from your mentality of a basketball. Because you can hold your own. Dude, you never felt like the last guy picked on a team. Like, if you've seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid or how they do it in the States, which I was very
They've never
against.
been picked. You know, I
Dude.
feel that way. My
No way,
brothers
are you
never-
kidding me? Dude.
Dude, no, I'm we're together. It's just that I had the skill, but people don't see it in me, especially coaches.
No, I see it. They'll regret. No, they'll know it when you start playing. Like,
People
dude,
like my peers would see it, but never the coaches.
no
For some
way.
reason.
Wow.
For some reason. Like,
You know,
if you think about it, I was better.
Maybe
than
they
my
judge you
brothers as a
physically.
student.
Maybe because they think, yo, he's
Probably.
short, he's not, you know.
Yeah, and I'm smaller too. I
But
look
like, you
great.
throw the ball, it goes
But-
in. I'm like, what the heck was that? And
nobody gave me a chance. Now that I'm like an adult, it's because it's not like you're trying out for whatever. You just go out and play, and they're like, "Oh, this guy is skilled," and people would assume that I was just, I was just one of those kids who were really good at basketball. Like, no, my wife would always correct them. Like, Snow's coach would be like, "Oh, your husband's really like, no, he wasn't like." Well, if you think he's good, well, he's not that good. Like, you should see his brothers because his brother is really good. Like,
no, because
she would say that.
dude, I played with Aldon. You know, when we did the KBP Palaro, he was on our team. I don't know if he represented you or you were not around. So he was still in radio, I think, at the time, but definitely not on Team Magic. But he would be on our team. It would be me, Nixon, Yoyong, Joe, and sometimes they'd put me in. And I would be like, no, man, put the Aldo. And Don would be like, no, boy, kikapoy ko ba? Relax ako. Because he's been doing all the work. He's doing all the scoring. And you know how your brother is. You know, he's freaking, like, he moves. You know, he's not, like, just sitting there like you conserve your energy and you just pick your spots. But your brother's, like, he does everything. So he would take breaks. And I obviously there was no one else. But they'd throw me in, you know. And I went up against, who's that June guy? The
Jun Digamon.
yeah, dude, I was guarding that dude. Dude, I was guarding that dude. Was fully, dude, he was geared up, man. That guy had like freaking wristbands up to his neck. I don't know, but he was really, dude, he was geared up. I went up against, dude. I don't know. I don't know if your brother decided to sub out because he didn't want to guard that guy. You know, because he didn't want to be part of the God bless us all or whatever. But I mean, I had to guard that dude, and I'm like, and I knew that we needed your brother to win. I'm like, I don't put me in there for sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay if I don't get to play. I mean, I want us to win. So, and I'm that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy who's like, shit, I feel bad going in there playing, and then there's a guy better than me. You know, like when I'm telling you, like, I know guys were good. Like Brando, Mamay, their family, those guys are freaking good. Like, they have the nose for the ball, they have bapulso, they know how to time their jump, they know where the ball's gonna bounce when it hits the rim. I have to it buffers when it happens to me. Like I know how to shoot when I'm alone. I have that confidence when I'm like, okay, I can shoot. But when in game, you know, when you're running and there's a guy guarding you and he knows you can only dribble on your right, and they will start guarding my right, so I'm fucking dead. I have to freaking pass the ball because I'm not ambidextrous like you people, and I can do the crossover shit that you do. Like Brando would like do the crossover stuff and like jump and like I'm gone, right? I can't stop the guy. And these guys didn't even do didn't even do basketball clinics. I mean, you guys freaking play for Holy Child for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's why I have this thing for basketball where I love the sport. It's my dad's favorite sport. I grew up with my dad watching PBA. He loves basketball, but he sucks too. Because I saw him in a liga in Provident Village in Marikina, and the memory of my dad playing liga basketball when I would be with him in Manila to visit him is a ball hitting his head. Like he's still there. My dad's like, about to rebound. And my dad had an afro. He looked like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He had like a fro. He had like a beard and stuff. The freaking ball hit his head, dude. Like, and that was the memory that stuck with me. So, realizing that I'm also not, dude, Raj is good. Jegos looks athletic. Their titos on my wife's side, they're very good in basketball. Pep's good in basketball. Jimboy has the stroke. So I'm just hoping my children will get their athleticism from their mom's side. Because their mom's
Probably.
athletic. Their mom's athletic.
So
their
you
mom's...
never know until you let them go.
I know. That's why but the thing that hurts me is I grew up in a different upbringing. Like I grew up in like a non-competitive, like what
That's true.
right?
That's
So
true.
you,
Because my father sucked at basketball, but I mean,
dude, my
he
dad
really
sucked at basketball.
because he was really good at bowling, and he was really good at table tennis. He was okay in tennis, and basketball he was like, but he sucked at.
still
He was
pulso.
like Class C.
The
He
bowling
was
is still
Class C.
pulso, right?
Right, but I mean, we picked basketball as our main game or our main sport, and when he would be at the games, he would see people there who are like kids of like former players, and he would say like, "Oh, his father was really good." Like, "Oh, his father's really good."
But the kids were
You know what I
good.
mean?
The kids weren't that good.
Their kids are not good. So that my father would say that. So it's just kind of like like it was like, "Oh, that I know his father. His father's a commercial player or whatever." But then some of their kids are like, well, yeah, they're kind of like skilled, but I mean, it's more of like with I think we all have to go back to the word hard work. Like that's how I mean, I really believe in that because I mean, it's a sport. If you keep on doing it over and over again,
Like
at some
10,000
point,
hours?
yeah,
Or was that
10,000
it?
hours.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah, I do believe in that. Like,
But-
granting that there are people who are really talented, but like what Kobe said, like he played like he's the least, like he worked like he was the least talented player in the team. Like
Yeah.
he would be there first.
Redeem
he'd be-
team. They all partied.
Yeah.
Kobe, when they arrived at the hotel, they saw Kobe in the lobby about to go to practice. And they just got home from drinking and partying. This is LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne. These are all
Right,
elite athletes. And Kobe was like,
that's what Kobe said. Like it has to be hard, and I believe that because you know what, when Kobe came in, you see Shaq, talked about this. Like when Penny came in, Penny was already Penny. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes. Yeah.
Kobe was. It took 2 years before Kobe became Kobe.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
even years before he became the Mamba.
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it, like
When
Iverson, he came in.
when Kobe
Iverson-
came in, he actually had short hair. People forget
Yeah.
that. They think it's Froby when he came in. No, he wasn't Froby. He had short hair. He was skinny.
He did.
Yeah. And then he had the Froby, and that's when he started to really pick up.
Right.
But when
That
he
was
came
like
in,
2
he
years after. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's
and
like-
you're right. He wasn't like Penny. He wasn't like Iverson, where their rookie year they were already
Yeah, or Tracy
freaking
McGrady
running the
even, right?
Tracy
They were
was already
like-
running the show.
He was like with these guys, and at that point, when they all came in, people were talking about Iverson, Penny, McGrady.
Yes.
He was not in the conversation.
No, he wasn't.
But
He
then
wasn't.
because so it's all about hard work.
But
It's
he
all
won a
about
championship
dedication.
before all of them,
Exactly. Right?
or any of them. None of them won a championship. T-Mac, Penny, Allen, he
Yeah,
won.
Yeah.
But okay, but here's the thing. It's not contradicting, but maybe adding to what you said about hard work. Now, people will say that, dude, you have to put in the hard work. But honestly though, if you're not passionate or something doesn't interest you, you're not gonna put in the hard work. I mean,
Exactly. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I do agree with that.
right? Like for example, I'm sure you had friends who wanted to try out radio, and maybe came in at the same time you did.
Right.
But they weren't willing to overcome the anxiety of talking on air. They didn't last
They were
as
not
long as
passionate
you
about
did.
it. No,
They were not
no.
passionate about it.
That's,
So it's
I do agree.
because like if you're passionate about it, it lessens the ordeal. Like it doesn't feel as hard a work as it is. Like my wife, dude, she wakes up at 4 a.m. to bake cakes. Who does that? Unless you're making millions. Unless you
She
own a
does.
bakery. I know, but what? She'll compare that level of passion for cakes to me. Like Well, is she a harder worker than I am? Dude, can she talk on radio for 3 hours straight? No.
No, that's her passion. That's
Exactly. So, like, for her, that would be torture. She'd probably. I know people who, like, can't even sit for 5 minutes and talk on air. They'd be like, they'll freak. And these
yeah.
people are like, right? They can't do the
That's
shit
why
we do.
that's the reason why I'm talking to Snow, and I'm asking her, do you like the game? Because if you don't like the game, quit it. Because it's pointless if you don't like
No,
it.
she likes the game. She likes the
So
game.
I
She likes the
really
game.
like.
Give her
I
time.
also I tell her about music as well. If you don't like piano, if you don't like music, quit it. We don't need to waste our time there. And like as well as swimming. But like well, I don't see. Here's the thing. Like no, I like basketball. I like swimming. I like piano. I like music. I don't want to quit. Blah blah blah. Then I'm like, oh, maybe she really does like all these things. But then again, she'd start saying like, "Pa, I want to do karate too. I want to do tennis as well. I want to
Oh,
do
that's
table
good.
tennis as well."
Well, that's
But
good.
you can't do everything, bitch.
Well, not at the same time, dumbass. Come on, Dad. What are you
There's
talking
only-
about?
There's
It's
only
not a.
7 days in a week. Where am I gonna put her? Like, I
Okay,
can't,
dude.
like,
Okay.
Where
See,
can we find the time? You can't even. You're not even good at Japanese yet. I
That's
won't
a
say
that.
yes, but you know.
That's
I
a good
mean,
problem
academics.
to have.
She needs to be good at her academics.
That's a good problem to have. You know who I see who has that drive? Diego. Like I talked to my wife. Like my wife, I don't know, for some reason your wife sees my wife sees all your wife's posts or your posts. And she's always telling me, oh, baka wala kayong show, babe, because they ate somewhere, they're out, or or they went to good. I'm like, I didn't see that on my post. Like really, like I didn't see Ice post that. Like I would see your wife
No, I
post.
don't post stuff. I don't. Post
I know,
stuff.
no.
My wife
So
does.
maybe maybe Bating's post appears more, and she'd be like, "See, ano no, she's big na. She has." And I look at Snow, she has that spunk in her eye, dude. She has that look in her eye, like, she's a fighter. And like my son Diego, dude, it's the same thing. So, because Raj is an intellectual kid, he's also athletic, he's strong, but he's more of the homebody. He got that from me and my dad. Diego's the outdoor kid. I see the same thing with Snow. I mean, if you have a kid who's like, dude, Dad, I want to try this, I want to try this, and you see them tugging at the coach, dude. I when I was a kid, I was very outgoing and an extrovert, but I would volunteer for shit. You know what I'm saying? And your kid's volunteering for that at that age. I mean, like, put me in. Am I gonna go in? I mean, dude, come on. That reminds me of my mom. Like that's a fighter. So I'm saying,
And I would say the same thing to her. What my father said to us. Kung
You can't even-
Ayaw magpakaulaw.
Well-
You're just gonna embarrass yourself. Don't
well,
put in the
well,
hard work first before
well,
you stop playing.
Well, she hasn't seen that side of the game yet where, oh, there's a loser, there's a winner, or there's a good, there's a not. She just thinks once she's in there, that's it. She's already, see, that's the thing that we have as adults. Once you become an adult, it's so much about the end result. The kids, it's all about the experience,
You're right.
They
They're
don't
just
care
like
if-
being hard.
They're gonna
Other
climb that
parents will say
tree.
Oh, she has a strong heart. Like, yeah, she only has a strong heart. I
But
don't want her
that's-
to have a strong
but
heart.
that-
I want her to have
that-
the skills.
That cannot be coached. That cannot be coached. Trust me, dude. You know where I see that? And Joe Boy knows this because Joe Boy does martial arts. Joe Boy did karate, Shotokan, whatever it is he did. And I've seen this like during when I was doing taekwondo for a bit, and I didn't get very far, but I did taekwondo. And I would see these kids, dude, when we're doing our stretching, before we start our actual sparring, because to get promoted, you have to do the kata, right? The palgue. So you have to be good and memorize the steps. I'm bad at that. And a lot of the kids that I was with, they're not kids. We're like, college kids, high school kids. Also, we're not good. So Master Kim, our taekwondo coach, would make us spar to redeem ourselves and have a chance to be promoted. Because sayang naman, it's promotion day and you don't get promoted. I mean, you want to be, up there with your batchmates. So what happens is you see all these kids in the gym before we start our training, before we start the proper promotion proper. And they're all like, man, they can split and shit. They can do all the kicks, the roundhouse, the turning long, the turning back, the whatever heck it is they're doing, axe kicks and shit. They're more flexible than I am. But when it comes to sparring, dude, they get hit, they cry. I mean, I saw a big kid, dude, like big dude, didn't even get hit hard. Like taekwondo doesn't really inflict that much pain. Shotokan, all that stuff, that inflicts pain because they're after the one hit kill, Taekwondo's like points. So you're just like touching the guy. And he didn't even get hit that hard, and he starts crying. And that's for me and that's I think for me is a difference maker because even if you have all the skills, if you freeze, like you hear about all these basketball high school prodigies, right? In high school, these guys were like dunking and like, that's why I'm quite surprised with how Lamelo Ball has translated his success to the NBA, because he was so skillful in high school, and maybe a lot of people were thinking, oh, he can only do that at the high school level, but he grew, and he's now like 6'7". So if he didn't grow, he would be stuck. He wouldn't. All those skills, Kyrie Irving can do that 10 times better, but because he grew and he's now a 6'7" playmaker. And he has that swag. In fact, if you look at LaMelo and Lonzo, LaMelo is the killer. And that's the difference between LaMelo and Lonzo. I think Lonzo has the skills, but Lonzo is hesitant. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. LaMelo doesn't care. He's not afraid to fail.
Form.
Yes, he does. Yeah. I mean, they all do. They all do.
LaMelo? Wow, really? I think Lonzo has the funniest. Hang on.
No. Okay. Lonzo. But I mean, LaMelo still doesn't look as smooth, even in his playmaking. He has that build. He has that like lanky kind of weird looking build, but he's freaking athletic as F. It's not a bad form, but it's certainly not Ray Allen form. You know what I'm saying? It's not smooth like that. But I'm just saying, it's like that's a difference maker.
Yeah, it's not cool.
It's not cool. It's like he looks awkward. It looks awkward on all of them on the but that's just how they were. And I think with Snow, dude, if she has the fighting spirit, you know what? Put her in karate as well. You're in Japan, dude. She has every freaking advantage. And you know why I recommend karate or martial arts? It's because you're going up against somebody your size, or at least your skill level. That's why I complained about basketball earlier. I said, dude, basketball is an unfair sport. It's hard for me to enroll my kid in basketball unless I know for a fact that all the kids in that clinic with him are all first timers. If I walk in that clinic and I see a kid doing freaking like the UTEP two-step or some crazy crossover crap, I'm pulling my kid out, because I don't want him to be a part of a team where all he's doing is either catching up or keeping up. They all have to learn together, and that's when you know which ones are good. Because pantay-pantay silang tinuruan, may ibang mas mabilis matuto, may ibang hindi. That's fair. For me, that's fair. But if another kid's been through several clinics and another kid hasn't, like, come on, right? It's like throwing you against a junior jock. Dude, you're gonna run circles against that junior jock. Are you kidding me? That junior jock's gonna be like...
That's why you've got to put in the time. Like, okay, here's the thing. We did not join clinics. We couldn't afford clinics.
You guys
My
are
father
good.
couldn't play.
But you had that manual. That secret manual, whatever the heck that was, right?
I think I told you the story.
A neighbor had that. The neighbor, what was that? The guy coaching you? There's this guy who, right? The guy who, that guy. Yeah, he had that thing, right?
Yeah, he made it like it was sort of a Karate Kid story. He would never teach us. He would be like, "All right, you have to help me water the plants first.
Oh, jeez.
All right, you have to pick my with a puller. You have to pick the white whatever what do you call it? The goatee. He has a goatee.
Yeah. The uban or something.
Yeah, so you have to pick the white ones out. So me, my brothers, and we have pullers, and we would like pull it out one by one, right? And it would be like, all right, can you all right? He would ask us.
He didn't tell you to take your clothes off or anything, right? No,
nothing like that. It was more of like household chores and shit, right?
Yeah.
And it took like more than a week before he started actually teaching us things, right? And all these players that we played against, they especially when
they all did the Milo. They all did the Milo best.
When my brother started varsity, they all played, or they all enrolled in the Milo Best clinic, and it's expensive to enroll there. And it's nice to enroll there because you would get, like a tote bag and
a ball.
You
get the Milo ball. Yeah.
Milo ball, then a T-shirt,
and sometimes they'll have a guest like PBA player or something.
It looks
show
really
up.
fancy, and we couldn't afford that. We really wanted to, but we couldn't. So yeah, what we did was we heard that this guy was a coach, and it wasn't even him; it was his brother who was a coach. But I think he had like a bit of experience or he probably watched his brother coach. So maybe that's why he knows some drills that he taught us.
But he did a
And
good
then
job, dude.
he no, but the thing was he showed it to us. He taught it to us, and we just kept on doing it. It was like, all right, you do this. Then it's like, all right. So he showed us like what, five, six, seven drills, and we stuck
Oh
with it.
man. Yeah,
We
that's
just did it day by day. Every day, what he showed us, we did it
was
every
that like
day.
the ball you like you make an 8 on the leg, you don't even dribble it, like
No,
you just
that's
do
not
like the
even
8?
it. That's not even it.
Oh, he didn't
It
even
has
teach you
nothing to do
that?
with dribbling. He just taught us how to like do the drills that the college players do.
Yeah, like the
Like you have
side,
to,
like, whatever.
like yeah, how to play defense, and that's like running up and down, and how to do the side
And the
step. So
scientific passing
yeah,
stuff.
dude, nothing about the ball. He didn't
Really?
want us to touch the ball. Like, don't touch the ball yet. You have to do all these things before you start touching the ball. So he made us do those things that he showed us, like the jumping and like running around in eights, and we didn't know what it was about. Like, why do we have to do that? He would put the ball in the middle of the court, and you have run and make an eight. Like like the
Yeah,
ball is like sort of the
in the middle.
where,
Yeah,
yeah, the middle. Like it's where like the points meet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it crosses there. So you have to make an eight running around like that. You have to run around like, don't stop, just keep on running, keep on running. Do it as long as you can until you get tired. And now I learned that, oh, it's for when you're making cuts, when you're making screens and shit.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're
yeah.
running around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
So
imagine that the man screening
yeah.
or whatever is the ball, right? So you like
So
go around it.
we got used to it. Like, the ball is not, no, don't touch the ball yet. You don't need the ball yet. Like, don't touch the ball. Do all these things. And then when he started teaching us about shooting, he taught us the basic. When you shoot, this should be here. This should be aligned with your knees. Your elbow should be like, aligned with it. Do not, like, so he corrected us. So it should be like this. So, like, even if it was hard because we were small kids,
Yeah, and the
we
ball
did
is
not
heavy.
co-
And the ball is heavy.
we did not compromise. Like, we would not do this, we would do this even if it would not reach the goal. So it was
Yeah,
like, it
yeah.
has to be that way. So I'm
Okay.
teaching Snow that now, like, do not, like, elbows in, and don't do like what most
Or
of the
else she'll
girls
be
do.
Alonzo. Or else she'll be Alonzo.
Because all the girls, they shoot the ball like this, like
Yes,
they push.
yes, yes.
They're
There are
like,
some WNBA players that still do that.
still do that, right? But I was like,
Yeah.
look at Paige Beckers. No, because she didn't compromise. She shoots like this. So I was like, you have to do that. Like, no compromising. Like, because all her other teammates are doing that. And in the beginning, they were teaching her that. I was like, don't do that. That's stupid. Like, you have to do this. So I'm teaching her, like, I'm pulling her on this. I'm like, you have to do this. Elbows in, and it has to be, it has to be like this. So when he started teaching us like the shooting form, we stuck with it. And then the next tip that he gave was like, start shooting from near the goal. And we were like, no, we were like, you can't even shoot near the goal, and you want to shoot from, dude, are you stupid? So, like, all right, yeah, you have a point. So we'd always like shoot from like the board, like, bank shot, bank shot. So it's just like, there, do that. Then you can move slowly, like move farther and farther and further. Then you can like do free throws, do as many as you can. And we did that every summer. I think that's how like all the Milo kids, it was so hard for them because, you know why? Because there were like so many of them.
Yes,
And they
yes.
can only do a few
You're
drills.
right, you're
We
right,
didn't
you're
have
right,
any
you're right.
competition.
Yeah, yeah.
We have the court to ourselves. It's just me and my two brothers. We could do it all day for
And
3
you know
hours.
what's
It's already
awesome?
a lot of
You
drills.
know what was awesome is that you were with your brothers. You
And
know,
that's
not
that,
you were learning together. You can talk about it when you get home. You have the same enthusiasm when you wake up. It's like it's hard if it's friends because some friends the parents are strict, hindi payagan. Some friends they can't go to
true,
this place,
true.
so, di ba? But for you, it's like, dude, you always have like you're
I think
always
so. I think
a
we're
three
lucky to have
ball
each
team.
other.
You are
Yeah,
lucky to have each other.
we would go to places like, all right, let's go Dayo there, and we would play 3-on-3. We would end up fighting each other if we lose a game. And my mom was like, "What are you fighting about?" Like, "Oh, we lost the game. Why? Because he didn't shoot the ball well." Like,
Yeah,
fuck
pretty.
you, I mean,
I,
fuck you.
I'm pretty sure that was you. You know, telling them off most of the time.
Like it was always like, we would always pick on Aldon. Like, Aldon is always like, "Why did you shoot?"
Yeah.
Because he was the smallest, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, when we were growing up, he was the
It would
smallest.
always be his fault.
So it would always be small, and sometimes he couldn't shoot the ball well. But I mean, that explains why he was the most athletic amongst us.
Yeah.
Him and Alfred in Canada. If you look at him, Alfred has the brains. like in terms of basketball. He's like really good. Like he's really smart. He's got that basketball IQ.
But
Is really
athletically, it's doing.
athletically,
Oh,
it's Aldon. Aldon would be
yeah.
like jumping around and running around, and
Yeah,
he
I know.
could.
That's what I was saying. That's why he needs me to sub him. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
gipasub
mean,
mo ko kasi
when you saw
pumasok
him
si
play,
Jun.
he was already out of shape. You've seen him, and he was in high school, and it was with RMC at that time, and he had that like muscles. He was nothing. He was lean, dude. He runs like he never gets tired, and he would jump like I was like, it was just like a shame that I mean,
He still
like
kind of does. He still kind of.
now
He
he's like
still.
when you saw him play, he was already out of shape. I mean, if you've seen him like in shape, he was like, oh my god. So when they played for UIC and they were both in shape because they ended up playing together and they were both in the same team. And even if their like team wasn't that strong, but they were both on the court, they were like, oh, they put up a show. There was like an invitational game in UIC, and I was there, and I went to watch it, and they did put up a show. I was like, oh,
Well,
your brother,
you know what? Here's the thing with basketball, and like most sports, when your body starts to decline, that's when you start to get crafty, right? And I
that's
think
true.
that's something that's a new level that you acquire. Like Kobe wasn't dunking like crazy anymore. You know, he started to do
You have to
post
use your
moves.
body more.
Yeah, yes. That and he bulked up. Exactly.
Gugulangan ko na to.
Yeah,
Gugulangan ko
gulang.
na.
Exactly, dude.
Si Dolo.
Exact, even on defense, like, and that's how we were playing it in KB when we were doing the KBP Palaro because we went up against this team, and I'm not gonna mention what radio station or broadcasting network they were representing, but they brought in commercial players, dude. And Joe was like, "Bay dili man na taga radyo bay," you know. Joe was like, "Dude, that like a 6'2" guy," and Joe had to guard him. I mean, like, because Joe was the only one who could post up with the dude. I mean, Yo-Yong, yeah, Yo-Yong's good, but I mean. Yo-Yong's not gonna do that well, with a guy who's also that active. Because Joe was regularly playing, Yo-Yo wasn't. Joe had a schedule like 2 times a week he would be playing. I bring him to like Gold Star or whatever gym. Sometimes I would drop him there, after a radio show or whatever. And so he was active, and he was like, "Bay, di man na radyo bay." I mean, like they brought in. I mean. We had Aldon with us, but he's still a media guy. And these guys were totally not. These guys were like commercial. But Joe knows them because his brother's a freaking coach. So Joe would be like, "Bay, dili na radyo bay." But we played against them. And I would see them like rolling on the floor and stuff because Joe would like not give up the space and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is a level of basketball that I am not going to go near. Like, because you're fighting over space. I mean, it's half. Oh no, we were playing full court, and there was another guy who was like, who kind of whacked Joe, and Joe whacked him back. So I'm like, and Dixon would always be telling me stuff, like whispering in my ear, "Bay, balusan na bay." I kind of know, like, okay, so this is how guys who know basketball, this is how they play, and that level of basketball that we were playing was the gulang basketball, right? Like what you're saying, like, but yeah, it's because I've witnessed, because I used to go to G Mall and I would watch these like high school kids or college kids play basketball because G Mall had that full court by the food court. They have like G Mall has this like restaurant area at the parking lot at the Sky Deck, whatever it's called, and they would have games there with like high school kids or whatever kid. Those guys were flying. They were skinny as heck, but dude, it's like literally the layups like from the 3-point line. Like these guys were like what you said, at that stage, when those guys play with you and you're like the home team and your team looks like the Tondo players and they come in and they look like they're like Ateneo varsity and they move at that pace, you have to slow them down, right? How do you slow them down, dude? You get in their way, you freaking Rudy Distrito time. I mean, drive ka niya. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, right?
That's how we beat the younger guys
Sige,
in my Friday.
Drive daw, drive. Sige, drive. Because, dude, come on. They're gonna score all over you. You have to. That's why I pride myself on defense. I'm like, bahala na sunggo. Basta di ka ka-score. Or I get fouled out, fine. I'll earn my stay on the court. I'm not gonna contribute in the offense. I'm just gonna bug this guy. I'm just gonna like, yeah, I know he's gonna elbow me back, and I'm ready for that. But you're like, you're a glamour kid. You just keep it safe. You don't even let people know that you're gonna shoot. You just have that pulso. So, you're the shooter, and I know you can drive, and I know you can play, make, and dribble and shit. But I know you're also careful. But still, that happened to you, right?
Yeah, that was
I mean,
It was a
you're a
bad
pretty
day.
careful player, dude. I don't think you ever lost a tooth or
But that
had.
day it was like it was
But
really rainy
you had one
and
of the worst injuries ever.
it was slippery.
That's
The
crazy, man.
I shouldn't have played, but cannot lagi dalo kay dula. So it was supposed to be like it wasn't safe, to be honest. But we still played. Like my the other place like like they slipped and whatever. But I think it was more of like even if I got hit and if I took some time off, this wouldn't happen. But because I didn't take a time off, I got
Yeah,
hit
yeah,
and I still went to the gym, did kendo. So it was it was actually being stupid. That's what it was.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, it's still like that's what you tell me all the time. You tell me, dude, you can be as careful as you can. Something's gonna happen to you. Something's gonna happen to you. That's what happened to you.
yeah.
Because I've never seen you hurt in basketball. Maybe sprain here and there, but like, dude, I have a friend in Bakaka, dude.
No, it wasn't really that bad. When I got hit, it wasn't that. It was really because I did
The
not take it.
you,
Yeah. When
oh
when
yeah,
I got hit,
the stress that was like it built up, right?
yeah, it
Basically,
was
yeah.
like no. Basically, I should have like taken a time off. Like when I got hit, I think that was a concussion, right? A
Oh
concussion,
shit.
but it was just a plain concussion. Like if I rested for about 2 3 weeks,
When
that's
he had
that's
that
okay.
injury, Joe Boy doesn't know about it. Tell Joe Boy what happened. It doesn't. It does. Show him. Joe Boy, you didn't know. Like this is like Iceman.
No,
That's
I had like I don't know if you can
it's
see
not
it.
visible anymore. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I can feel it, but you can't see it anymore. Oh yeah, you can see the scar.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
He
that. Like
nearly died. He nearly
I
died.
have a I have a burr hole. I had a burr hole. Like they have to drill a hole to my head so that they can drain the blood. What happened was I think I had a concussion, and I didn't stop playing. I rested for 2 days, and what happened was I started running and lifting weights. And after lifting weights, I started doing kendo. This was like 2011. All right, it's not a big deal. It's like 11 years ago. So it's I'm back to now. Like after 2 years, I started playing again. Even like my doctor even told me like after the surgery, like yeah, just give it time. You can go back playing. But it took me 2 years. It didn't have to take that long. But I was just like scared. But he was like, no,
Yeah, but
that's
mind
all
you, Joe
done.
Boy, this happened in Japan. If this happened in the Philippines, he'll be dead.
Yeah, I would have died. I would have died.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I would
no
have been
question
dead by
about
now.
it. He'll be
This was
like,
2011. So I hit my head. It was I was okay. I was trying to play defense. I was running, but because the court was slippery, because it was raining that day, and I think it has something to do with I don't know the whatever you call it, like um what do you call that?
the steam.
The heat. Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
the
the
steam or the heat
no, it's
coming
not steam.
off the
It's I know what you're
ground.
saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. So something like that. So the court's really slippery. Everybody was slipping, and I was on my way to like block a pass or something, or just like make a defense. And he made a pass, and I couldn't stop. So it wasn't really totally his fault as well, all right? Because I did it. I should have said like
Because your
I couldn't.
momentum kind of yeah. Because
Yeah,
yeah, the
exactly. Momentum. That's the word. Yeah, my momentum was like it never stopped. So it just like he threw that pass. It was a strong pass. So just when he was like throwing it, and I was on his way to collide with his freaking huge arms, and yeah, I got hit in the face, and it was like, geez, that was a strong hit.
did you
But
fall
then
or
no,
did
I
you
did not.
like?
I
Oh,
did
you
not
didn't?
fell, man.
Holy
I
shit!
did it. It was just like that. I was like, oh, but you would like, oh, you would feel it like, ow.
Your bell was rung. Yeah, your bell was rung. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, I was trying to check if my nose was broken or if I was bleeding, but there was nothing. But I was like, oh man, my eyes. And I sat down for a while, and I was like, and I still played after that. And after that, I had a really terrible headache. It was like my head. It wasn't a headache, but it felt like um, what's the term, Joe boy? What's the term for that? Like
Migraine, like a
it's not
pressure,
migraine. Is it
throbbing,
shouting? Like
Is
no,
it throbbing?
no throbbing. No throbbing. Um, hollow. No, what's the term? But you have that feeling, like no, like it felt like I felt lightheaded. I felt
Okay.
lightheaded. So I went to get a city scan. It was clear at that time. But the doctor was Japanese, and he was so stupid. He just gave me a freaking whatever, like a pamphlet with Japanese characters. Uh, and he didn't tell my wife as well. Like my wife can speak Japanese very well. He should like, oh, he's fine. He didn't even tell my wife like, oh, just tell him, you know what? Because what he told my wife was like, oh, if he has a really bad headache, like in the next few days, just make him come back or blah blah, or But I think he's fine. Just like if he throws up or whatever, then come back. So I was like, all right, I was fine for 2 days. So I was like, oh, maybe I can go back. He never said like, oh, tell your husband to take it easy for a few weeks. Nothing like that. It was just like, give me a paper with this like Japanese in front, Portuguese at the back. I'm like, how the hell would I understand that? And I didn't have a smartphone at that point, no apps that could translate or whatever. So I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit. So I was like, all right, I'm fine. I think I'm fine. I felt lightheaded, but after 2 days, like, oh, maybe I can do all the normal stuff that I used to do. I went back to the gym, started lifting heavy, whatever, because I was like really fit at that time. And I did kendo. You know what kendo is, right, Joe Boy? Like hitting you in the head.
Yeah, he
The
does. He knows that he did Japanese
the
karate,
jiggly.
so
So after a month, I had like that really terrible headache, and it wouldn't go away. And I was like planning to just um, like whatever. It might
wait
just
it
go
out.
away.
Just wait it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, whatever. But it never did, and I was like, all right, it's never gonna go away. So my wife got really, worried, and she was like, all right, let's go to the doctor. And the doctor was like, can you get another CT scan? And in the beginning, I refused. It was like I already had a CT scan. It was clear. And the doctor was like, no, you really need to take this. Like you should. And when they took it, it was like, damn. It was like, oh, there's so much blood in your head. And like, it's a good thing that we found it because that's really dangerous. That's what the doctor said. I'm gonna refer you to the specialist who was there at that time because he was only there on Tuesdays, and he was there at that time. So when I saw him, he was just like, "Oh, you need to have a surgery." And I was like, "All right, so can we schedule it in about a week or so?" He was like, "No, no, 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 you have to do it
No.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Like
tomorrow.
it has to be immediately. This is an emergency." I was like, "Really? Like, yeah, this could go off anytime. Like, let's hope like you're not gonna die tomorrow." Like, and like he was, nah, I'm joking, and because he had a medical license in America, so he could speak English. And it was like, well, do you want to be operated in Tajimi or you want to come to Nagoya? I mean, I was like, I'll go to Nagoya. So I went to him, and he was even joking about it. Like, okay, I'm gonna write a recommendation letter from me to me. It was like, all right. It was like he was trying to be funny, and he gave me an English speaking nurse, two of them, and he was, the doctor, and he allowed my wife to. Stay with me the night of the operation because usually they're not supposed to.
So you're
So
like
they,
fasting and all that stuff, right? You couldn't eat
yeah, I
anything.
did.
All that. Oh.
Yeah, after 12 minutes, I
And
couldn't
and
eat.
and,
I
and
couldn't
Joe Boy,
eat
here's the
anything.
thing. Here's what's creepy too about it. It's like I don't know if it's still the same, but he showed me that thing like when he came home after he went through that, and I touched it, and there's no skull, like
Yeah,
there's no
there's no
bone.
bones.
There's no bone on that part of his head. And I have a friend, my wifey's husband, who got in a bad car crash. His name's Daryl, and that thing, same thing happened to him. They had to board something, but they put a titanium or something on his head, so he has like at least something of a shield. With ice, it's literally like you can pop in a straw in
It's like
there
a
and sip his brains. I mean,
yeah.
right? Literally,
But
you
the doctor
could.
said like if he put something, he was saying like it would be more of a problem in the future. So he was like, you don't need it.
Oh,
No,
if you put
dude,
something
really,
there, yeah, because
yeah,
it'll react, right? It'll react.
yeah.
It might get
So
itchy. You
yeah,
might have tingly. Yeah,
so
that's what my my
so
wife's
they were
friend's
like, no, you
husband.
don't need it. Like it's like it's this small, whatever. It's like you don't need it.
Oh,
And
Dr. Drew, tell Dr. Drew what the situation. I mean, not the backstory, but what it is. What is it? What's it
yeah,
called? A
it's a
bore? Yeah, because
burr hole
Drew,
surgery.
yeah, because Drew's gonna be a surgeon if he's not already a surgeon.
A burr hole
Yeah.
surgery. And I think I can show you some of the photos. Hang on,
So basically,
real
he
quick
had a.
here.
Was that a hemorrhage? What was that?
It was subdural hematoma. I had a subdural
So
hematoma,
they needed to let the thing out.
and they need to drain the
Intracranial
the
pressure.
blood.
It's to
Yeah,
reduce intracranial pressure. All right. So he could have died if that wasn't, performed
that was already an
the soonest.
emergency. That was already an emergency surgery because I didn't know that it was that urgent. They were like, no, you have to have it tomorrow. You can't wait for a week. We can't wait days.
Yeah, he
Like
dodged
it
the
has to
bullet.
be tomorrow.
He definitely did. Pero matigas sa ulo eh. But the funny thing is, I also have like a scar on my head, so we're like the same thing. But mine's on the back. I'm not gonna tell you the story of mine, but I also went through something. But it's like Ice is like on the front, mine's like on the back. But Ice is though he's missing a part of his skull. I'm not. I just like have a dent on my head. Ice has like a freaking I mean, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. And this is from a guy who, like, when you play basketball with him, he doesn't really, like, he doesn't get physical or anything. He doesn't, like, his brother does, but he's not him. Because he's a shooter, that's what he is. And for all people to have something like that, because usually they say, okay, with the guy who did it, the guy who accidentally hit your head, was he a good player or was he kind of like my skill level? Was he a regular player?
Well, he knows how to play. A lot of people have been like telling me that he's sort of a dirty player, but that particular incident, I told my
Yeah, it was your momentum that carried you towards him too.
Yeah, I was like, no, it wasn't his fault. I was like, no, that's not what happened. I was like, that's not what happened. It's
No,
it's
because
my wife.
because I hear from friends that they say that even if you're a good basketball player, if you go against somebody who doesn't know what he's doing, you could get hurt.
True,
You know what I'm saying?
but
The Bakikaw guys, mangambras, like they don't know how to rebound, like they'll undercut you when you drive because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, let's read Dr. Drew's comments on Iceman's situation or back then. Subdural hematoma, it's a very emergency case for us. Like we operate on them ASAP because if not reacted, it leads to complete paralysis of the body.
it
Dude,
is. It is.
Iceman, can you move both arms up? Can you move it middle here like this? Can you make us like this kind of motion? Can you go like that?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
He's not paralyzed yet, no.
No, I'm not. I'm not. How do you how do you share something again? Hang on. Okay. Here it is. Share screen. I'll share it. I'll share screen.
Oh my God! Is this the CT scan?
All right.
I'll let my wife see it. Oh my God, babe, you want to see Iceman's CT scan?
This was before the operation. I was
Is
like,
your
take a
city-
picture
is-
of my perfect shaped head, and this is what happened after. So they drilled the hole over here,
Is your CT scan there?
drained the blood.
Do you have a picture
No,
of your
I-
CT scan?
No, the CT scan, like no, like I don't have.
That's when
picture
he
of
was
my-
that
my
was when he
scan.
was operated on, diba? He has a hole on his head.
Oh, yeah.
So-
May burr hole.
So this was like,
Yeah, burr hole. Yeah, the burr hole.
so this is like so here it is. Like see,
Oh
Yeah, I
man.
had- so
Scar
this is
head.
like from over there. Oh, yeah.
There. Dito ay so.
So-
Yayay. Dito ay
So
scar
it's
head.
basically
Tanggal lang sa pressure sa ulo.
the actual hand.
Yeah.
So like I was really scared, but the doctor was like saying like, no, it's not a big deal. It's like it's like he did it like 1,000 times. It was saying like, don't worry about it.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to Tito Ju. Say bye-bye, Tito Ju. Bye-bye.
Oh, you're playing
he lo-
baseball.
He loves
Alright.
baseball. He loves baseball. You look like you're drugged out of your mind at the hospital, Pix. No, that's his normal. That's his normal
Dude,
expression.
I was.
Bye, Rai. Hey, Tito Ju says bye, Rai. Hi, Tito Ju. Bye.
That was
Go on.
that was a bizarre experience.
Bye, bye. Go to mama. Go to mama.
Bye, Rai.
Bye, bye.
Diego.
Yeah, he's a.
Yeah, I was totally drugged out, man. I was there. I woke up because they were like trying to wake me up after the surgery to see if I'm okay. Just to find out if like the surgery went well. So they tried to they tried to wake me up, and I got mad at my wife. I got cranky, and my wife was like, "All right, he's fine."
Yeah, because you're still cranky. Because you're still cranky.
She was so worried, and when she woke
Okay,
me, was
I
like,
gotta ask because we have Drew and Joe Boy on board. These are both medical professionals. They might know a thing or two, or maybe have read something about these things. But you and I both have gone through serious head trauma, head injury, and I remember you mentioning to me that there was a time when like a tricycle or some car cut you off, and you like all of a sudden went on like almost like a violent rage or something. And I noticed that I go through that shit too. But the person I noticed that the most is with my mom, because she also went through like serious head trauma shit. And I noticed that she gets triggered. Like she'll freak out like like really, but she doesn't, it's like she hasn't really committed any major act of violence or injured or hurt anybody. But my question is, does that have an like a side effect later down the line? Is there really a connection? Because I think I also read it somewhere that suffering from a certain head trauma or whatever can create situations where your temper will flare up, or you're more irritable, or you get triggered, whatever, and it might be something that you didn't experience before that you might like experience later in life. Is there truth to that, Joe Boy or Dr. Drew, regarding you know going through like a head trauma or head injury? I mean, does it have
Tried
an
using
effect?
that card, then my wife just tried to like my wife would disprove it. Like, no, you've been like that ever since.
No, no, no. But you don't like you don't. I know you. I know how you when you just react like when your sister did something or said. I know how you are when you react, and I know you when you're like you're really like kind of like your temper's
No,
there.
no, like I do have that.
So you think
temper
it's
from time to
normal?
time. I think no, I no, I mean
Because
I've like maybe after surgery, like I don't know, man. I mean,
it's
after
like
doctors, but
it's like when women give birth, diba? They become forgetful because of the anesthesia that they.
like I would say that maybe from like the first year of it or maybe first few months, maybe you have that thing, like you're irritable or whatever. But like like now, I don't think so. Like my attitude now, it's the same before. You know what I'm saying? Like before I got married, I also got into like almost a rage, and Master Yoda tried to like calm me down because um, I think I had this. Like I was backing up, and there was this freaking car. Like behind me, and I think I kind of like we kind of like kissed. I mean, my bumper kissed
His bumper.
um not his bumper. It's like what do you call his fender, right?
Okay.
So he had more damage, but I was like so pissed. It was like, why did you move out of the way? But then they could like argue the same, like, why did you look at your rear view mirror?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
freaking
So you guys were
blind?
like, so you
like,
guys
but
had.
I was
Yeah.
just like so freaking mad about it, and I was like screaming, and Yoda was just like, dude, calm down. You're getting married, man. I mean, we're gonna get into a fight here. Like, you're getting married tomorrow. I was like, nah, I'm just like so pissed. Like, why is he behind me? He already saw that I was like backing up. Like,
Okay.
I
So-
don't know why I didn't look behind
But
me.
okay,
But
but
I
there's
think
a
that was more of my fault if I think
here's a
about it
professional
now.
opinion. Here's a professional opinion. Yes, it's true that in cases of severe traumatic brain injury where some part of brain get damaged due to force, impact, or due to stroke, some type of symptoms come out. Some type of symptoms come out related to specific part of the brain. Now,
But I
what
think we're
what
both fine.
whatever happened to me, it happened when I was like 9 years old or 10 years old. So I can't really tell how peaceful I was before it happened. And then after that, because that's the only person I
No.
know and remember
No.
is the one after that. But
No,
with
you-
you're more accurate because you can tell. You can tell like, okay, did I ever get in a fight
Yeah,
before?
no.
And now am I getting
No,
in
here's
fights?
the thing with
No.
you, like dude, you're perfectly sane. You never lose your temper. Like me, I'm the same thing. I never lose my temper, like when I'm at work or when I'm with people.
We're not like Mao, right? I'm not saying Mao's
Exactly,
like
yeah.
war freak, but Mao will really like
Right?
he can get
Like it's
violent.
like those things. Like for example, like yeah, with an accident. That was like everybody was like, the fuck, man. Like like that's like a sort of like natural reaction. Then like when things calm down, you'd be like, oh fuck, that was a shitty thing to do.
You regret
I
it, yeah. You
realized
regret
that.
it, yeah, yeah.
Like it's the same thing now. Like if you like at that particular time when I had that like fender bender, I really felt like it was his fault. But now I look at like yeah, I should have looked at my rear view
But now we
mirror,
have an excuse. But now we have an excuse. Look at what Dr. Drew said. Like some people forget things post injury. So like if the wifey accuses us of something, we can always say, "It's our anniversary, really?" And not yes, not.
with the forgetting part probably.
Can I watch one thing? I'm going to put down to one.
Yeah, go.
Because I would
So-
be like, oh, where are my glasses? Like with the forgetful part, like I would say like not with the temper part, with the forgetful part, like forgetting things. I would say like it could be because right before that I never forget things, right?
Okay, I can use
But
that as
now
an
it's
excuse
like-
then.
It's
The
like,
wifey
all right,
accuses me, "Why didn't you
noticed
buy the
that. I
thing?"
noticed.
You know.
that's true. It could be
You're
with
forgetful?
the forgetting part. Not all the time, but there are like times that I'm like, holy shit, like where's my glasses? And my wife would always say like, we always have that problem, like where are my keys and stuff like that. I mean, it could
Dude,
be normal, but
You know what? You know what my problem is? Sometimes I'd be thinking of like the title of that freaking Rick Astley song, and I'd forget about it. And it's like something that you can.
Ever,
Yeah, but it's
never to-
no, never gonna give you up. You know that
That's
meme
another
one?
one.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like we never forget that shit. But there'll come like now I'm talking about it, but maybe tomorrow I'll be watching YouTube and trying to recall it, and I'll be going, "Holy shit! How did I forget that? What's that title?" You know? like that. I encounter shit like that. I never forget where my keys are. I never forget because I'm routinary. I always put it in the same friggin' place. The only time I lose stuff is when somebody touches it or borrows it and does not return it at the exact same spot. So I'm very OC about that. Because I know I'm forgetful, so I always put it in the same place. This is my key place, this is my wallet place, this is my gun place, this is my money place. So I always know where everything else is. But when you know, like when I'm sitting, like I said, there are things that I'll forget. Like for example, like a title of a Plum song. Remember Plum? We had a CD at the station that Billy Kane stole.
Yeah. Here with me. That's Plum. No. Here with me. That's Dido. Hang on.
Okay, see, like,
Look at
see,
me, I'm
See,
23, beautiful.
see?
another day tonight.
see,
I'm
you
a
remember the song?
lonely,
What about the title?
I'm a lonely,
See,
I'm
come
a
on.
lonely- Real.
I'm not a. Okay,
Real.
yes, real, yes.
Real.
Na
Plum,
na
real.
na 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 na. Yeah, I mean, like I said, see, like I'll have like that brain fart where, shit, they play this song all the time, like I even forgot,
Stranded. Plum. Stranded.
Yes,
Stranded.
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 What about Chantal Kreviazuk? Remember her songs?
Oh
You,
man.
you know Chantal Kreviazuk, right?
Of course.
See?
So kiss me and smile for me.
Yeah, but not that one. The one that she has another one.
She's another
Yes,
one?
I know.
I forgot that
Dude,
song.
come on, Chantal Kreviazuk,
The
dude.
Chantal Kreviazuk was I remember her version of the leaving on a jet plane.
Yes, of course. But you don't know the other songs?
No, what's the other song?
Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm trying to recall it. But I know there was one that kept playing in UR when I was still in UR, and it came in like a dark CD. Go tell me the titles of the song. See, now we have Google.
Oh, she's
So-
pretty okay.
Now we have Google. So
Feels like home in this life. Be
yeah,
somebody.
feels like home. That's one.
Feels like home.
Feels
right,
like home to me. Feels like home to me.
I think I think I only played. I haven't played this song. To be fair, though, I haven't played this song. I know "Leaving on a Jet Plane" because I play this, and I would always say her name.
What
Like,
other
Chantal
songs does she
Kreviazuk.
have? Yeah,
Well,
I know.
in this life, and be some. What's this? Be somebody from the album Ballerina. But I remember only "Leaving on a Jet Plane." But you know what bothers me now is our CD samplers, because I know those CD samplers too well.
I know.
And I tell my wife, but I'm like, fuck, like she can't relate because she doesn't know what it looks like. Because I know where's the, like, for example, like the Oasis, right? The Oasis.
Yeah.
song. I know where they are. They're like the Sony.
And
Sony
I
records.
know you know where all the Mariah Carey songs are. They're also on the Sony ones, right?
Yes.
And
right?
usually they're pink or orange. And I know there's a Jessica Simpson song in an orange sampler. I mean, am I right?
I would remember that the Tevin Campbell song, like, do you remember Tevin Campbell?
Of course.
Knocks Me Off My
Can
Feet.
we? Oh, knocks me up. Okay. That
That's
one.
like an
That's-
orange sampler. It's an orange sampler, and I think it's Warner Brothers.
I remember.
That's Warner Philippines.
Yeah, Warner usually has that. Like you can tell also on the cover and the spine. But yeah, I also
And-
recall like I
remember
think
that-
Warner. REM is Warner too. REM, Imitation of
yes,
Life. That's a Warner. It's a baby blue colored CD.
Right.
It
Now
comes with the-
Brulia's Torn was like in the green, like really thin.
Yeah, it was like maybe only one or two songs.
BMG
yeah.
Records.
Yes.
It was like
yes.
green. It's cut number 10. Dude, not one or two songs.
Dude,
We
I
had,
can't even
like,
remember. I can't even
cut
remember the
number
cut,
10.
but you're pretty good.
Like, well, some songs I remember. Like
What
cut
about
number 10,
Von the
Now Enjoy.
Shepherds? Baby, don't you? I know.
That's
I
funny.
know.
That's
Wait,
the
what's
sky
the
blue
color?
one.
What? Yes, it's sky
Sky
blue. Yes,
blue.
yeah.
Cut
It's at the
number
bottom. It's the bottom part. Like there's two, right? There's like that. Some of the songs are the one. Some of the bottom.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
at
yeah.
the- yeah.
It's cut
yeah.
number 8. 'Cause I
We're
always play
stupid.
that song. It's cut number 8. I know that.
Baby, don't you break my heart.
Yes.
Okay, like before, people used to be very particular about spelling. All they used to remember spelling each word very well. Now we don't even remember spelling of simple words. Exactly. I mean, dude, I was like a grammar N. Like I don't want to use the N word, but you know they were the ones responsible for the Holocaust. But like I was a grammar N before. When it comes to grammar, and it comes to spelling, when it comes to construction of sentences. Not because I'm an English teacher. I was never, and I'm not really sure if I'm correct grammatically. But I just know if it sounds right or it doesn't sound right. And now I have to rely on spell check. Like I literally have to activate
We
spell
all
check
do. We
on my
See, here's the
phone.
thing. You know why we do that? Because we're scared that we might have spelled the wrong thing, and it's
And we're
embarrassing.
conscious. I think
Yeah,
we're extra
we're conscious
conscious.
about it.
I think it's
We're
because
conscious
we
about it
speak
now.
English and
Back
we
in
were
the
like
day,
right.
back in the day, you can just like do things and like, well, nobody can, check
Dude.
me or whatever.
Dude,
But
there are a
now
lot of
everybody can
people who
post
are
it.
not conscious about it. They will post on Facebook and it's freaking wrong spelling.
Up until now, holy crap!
Dude,
it's
are you
embarrassing.
kidding me? Don't you have friends when we spell and it's like their post? And I'm like, holy shit.
They do. They do. It's
Like,
just embarrassing.
dude, it's great, not great. And you
Holy
know
crap.
what?
Yeah.
You know what? Here's one thing I noticed when I came back to the Philippines that up to this day, I hear people like they say the same thing, and I don't know what's correct and what's not, but
Right.
it's the movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. They always say Predator here. It's Predator. Predator. Dude, Predator.
What's that? Like I've
Dude,
never heard
I
anybody
just,
said that. Like,
dude, I just saw an episode of Vice, which is like this documentary thing on YouTube, and they featured this Pinoy Superman, who's like this gay dude who like changed his face into Superman and collects Superman stuff and dresses up like Superman, and he's lived in Abu Dhabi and all that crap,
he's a
and
predator.
dude, he's like. He said he's like, like Superman's an alien, so nobody know because he's gay, and he was like openly gay, and he said, "Why are people telling him why are you playing Superman? You're gay." And he said, "Well, we don't know what Superman is. He's an alien. You could pull down his underpants, and there might be a squid there or something like." And he has a point. He kind of has a point, but he said he's like an alien, like the Predator, and I'm like, it's Predator, but it's sort of like an English
Dude, it's
teacher.
probably him. It's
No,
probably him.
no. I hear that
Like,
from my
I've-
friends too. I hear that from my friends.
you?
I'm talking about like I'm not gonna mention which friends, but I have friends with like, which
They might not have the exact like predator, but they say like
Bay,
"Predator
gwapo
ba
kayong
yun?"
predator, bay, kaming predator. I mean, it's
Really?
like,
At least my friends say predator. Abay, itong predator ba? Well,
yeah, predator.
I've never
It-
had friends who say predator.
I mean,
Like,
you know,
dude, that's really stupid to say
no,
predator.
no, because a lot of Filipinos, they don't really see the trailers, and in the States, when you see the trailer, you immediately know how it's pronounced, like the Predator. You're like, like, I don't even think Schwarzenegger says the word Predator in the movie. They don't even say it in the movie. You don't like. I don't just say, "Oh, the Predator is there." No, he never says that. Nobody mentions Predator in the movie, so you don't really know how to say it unless you see the trailer. And in the U.S., we saw the trailer, so I was like, the Predator. So we know. But it's like, I guess Filipinos are kind of like connecting it to like how you pronounce other things. Like, for example, Terminator, right? Why is it not Terminator, right? But why is it Predator? So, dapat Terminator if it's Predator, right? So, Filipinos would probably be like, make one and one. It's like, Terminator man pagkasabi, di
Yeah, it's the same
Predator.
thing with Fast
Right?
break and break fast. And we talked about it before.
No.
Why did you
No.
say fast break?
No,
and we never said
I'm not.
break fast?
I'm not. I understand the logic behind it because I had my homeroom teacher in Ateneo. I don't know if it was homeroom, but it was what's the religion one?
Breakfast Club.
What's the FCF? I had an FCF. I had an FCF. Like that was homeroom in Ateneo my first year.
Right.
She
You're
was
a
an
moderator at
English
FCF,
teacher, and she
Right.
would
So
she
what-
would still say
So
apple,
what's the
dude.
explanation?
Apple.
What's
She never
so-
says apple. She said apple. You know what I'm saying? It's
Apple?
like apple.
Apple.
Like
Apple
ape.
is like apple.
I know, but there are these smart Alec people who like schedule and schedule potato.
Apple,
There are these
paper.
people who like say stuff because you don't say when you the letter in the alphabet. It's A, so they assume it's pronounced as A, right? But it is in some ways.
There are rules. There are like some words with that.
I know, but
Then
for
there are other
example,
words, like,
Okay.
yeah.
okay, so like Predator and Terminator. Why is it different? They're both followed by a vowel. Like Predator is followed by an O. Terminator is followed by an O. It's T-O. It's both followed by a T-O. Why is it not Terminator? Why is it Terminator? And then Predator is not Predator. Sige nga, English teacher, explain. You're the English teacher, explain. It's not like I before E except after C. Yeah, there's that rule, right? Like conceive and believe. But when you talk about like
For me,
Predator
you have
and
to use a
Terminator.
vowel.
Yeah, what is it? Terminator, not Terminator. And then we correct somebody. Like if I have an argument with somebody, by di man na Predator man na. And then they'll say, "Oh, ang Terminator malagi, not di malagi Terminator." Oh, how am I gonna defend that? Am I just gonna say? Am I just gonna say the voiceover guy on the trailer mispronounced it, and it's actually really Predator?
No, because it's like it's Predator. I think there are some things that are just like pronounced that way. I guess. I don't know. Like they're like well, that's how it is. Like you can't like well that's how it's pronounced. Just stick with it. Like why would you like it's like Predator and say say Predator.
No, but see the
But okay,
hard
when
part.
you say
They make more sense though. Like they can justify why they pronounced it that way. I can't. My only justification is that's how the trailer guy said it. Right? The trailer guy said Predator. So that's how it's supposed to be said. Not Predator. But I mean, I don't know.
see, it's not even.
what is
I don't
it? So
know
what is
who-
how do you say it? How do you say it?
All right, okay. You
We're
know what?
both
It's
wrong.
Predator because no, Predator is American. Predator is British. Predator is Filipino. Let's just put it that way, because we Filipinos can be stupid, and we want to, we think that we're better. Have you heard English teachers saying that? Like Filipino English teachers, they always claim that we're better at English compared to the native speakers. I'm like, all right, fine. I mean, I don't believe that.
I mean, I mean, like, yeah, I'm
Whatever.
like, I don't know, like, but see, that's the problem with me. It's like my only basis of how it's correctly pronounced or spelled or what is based on what I've read, based on what I've
Sean.
heard, based
With
on
the TION, it's like international, right? Nation. But we always say nation. Nation. It's
yeah.
session.
You're right. Nation.
Sean, right? Yeah?
Nation.
Communication.
Yeah.
Communication. When you say
Yeah.
shins, like you're like
I know, I
growing
know.
up, my friends would laugh at me because I say, "Oh, the communication part." And like,
Yeah, they'll tease you, right?
communication.
They'll
Same
tease
thing.
you.
It's not communication. It's communication. Like, fuck you. I'm like, yeah.
I know.
That's how you want to say it. Then say it that way. It's fine. I'm not gonna.
Bahala ka!
I exactly right.
Basta ako, I sound cooler.
Yeah, that's what I said to myself. But then now everybody's saying the same word, like everybody's speaking the same way we do. So it's just kind of like, all right.
I know. But like I
Times
said,
have changed. Times have
but,
changed.
but I guess this is like Manila English, and I'm not saying that the Manila folks are dumber than the Davao and Cebu or Visayas and Mindanao folks, but it's really harder for them to get out of that. Like they have part of being like Tagalog or Manileño. It's not just like you speak Tagalog. Like pambili nga po ng ano. It's not that. It's like the way they say English words, like the way Robin Padilla says English words, the way Coco Martin says English words, like the way they say 150, 150, like, that's, when you say 150, that's not like a Bisaya saying 150.
Dude,
like
but
Bisaya would,
apparently-
nang 150 na, nang, like Bisaya would say, nang 150 na, no, yeah, maybe there's some, but it's like, it's mostly like associated with like a Tagalog speaker.
Dude,
Best
apparently
friend.
there's about 365 ways of pronouncing predator.
Really? Okay, well, there you go. We're arguing over nothing here.
All right. See, that's the thing. Like, all right, there's no point. No
I'm
point.
just saying, like, like, if you talk about the movie, dude, you can have to base it on how the trailer pronounced it because
True.
it's based on the movie Predator, and this let's say
Predator.
Predator. But I get the point because nobody really mentions the word Predator in the movie. If you watch the whole movie, nobody says,
That's true.
right? So there's no basis unless you see the trailer, which I saw when I was in the States. But anyways, all right. So next episode Thursday, dude.
Thursday,
It's,
all right, let's do it
it's
Thursday.
11 there.
I know. I was planning to just do it about an hour. Like,
I totally
God,
forgot
get
too. I
carried
was
away.
like, I got lost.
Carried
So
away.
anyways,
Carried away.
all right.
All right, Thursday, folks. Thanks a lot, Joe Boy and Groove. And for the people who's gonna watch this off, when we go offline. All right, thanks a lot. This has been the OK Show with Rodriguez and Iceman. We'll see you on Thursday. That's a promise this time. And-
Predator.
all right, Predator. We are out. Good night. We'll see you on Thursday. Thank you.